your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Dolly Madison still trying to recover from monstrous storm Hurricane Dorian. The store incurred significant damage, resulting in thousands of dollars in damage. In this update tonight, the store manager says that while recovery may be slow, the Dolly Madison Home Center will make a comeback. Madison Home Center has been a staple in the Grand Bahama community for decades, providing essentials for the home, from appliances to tools to plants. While following Hurricane Dorian, General Manager James Roll says that they lost over 90% of their inventory and office spaces. Now, despite this major loss, Roll says that they picked up their bootstraps and are now open to serve the public.
This location now is the southern portion of the main building on Oak Street, and it's called the Apple Warehouse. And right now, this covers about 2,000 square foot of operating space.
As Grand Bahamians continue to prove their resilience, regrouping and rebuilding, Roll says that residents are taking advantage of the supplies.
Business has picked up because once persons are aware that we are open, they're coming in. So we're really offering right now a lot of cleaning supplies. We're offering garden supplies, right, like fertilizers. We also offering lawnmowers, weed cutters, rakes, shovels, pickaxe, the basic things that will help you get your yard together, your house together. We do offer the full line of appliances right now. We have some beddings. And right now, we're hoping to, as we create more space within this operating area, we're bringing out additional inventories.
Dolly Madison is currently open from Monday through Saturday, and Roll says the plan is to continue expanding their offerings. He says going forward, they remain committed to reopening the main store in the future.
As things progress, we're going to expand to the store that we used to be, and hopefully we're going to be much better than we were before, so that the general public will have a greater opportunity to explore and to be exposed and to get much more than they used to get before. Right now, there is no timeline. I think our immediate timeline was to see how soon we could get up and running, and we were able to do that within 2.5 weeks of Dorian. Right now, the owners of the company is really considering how they're going to proceed in terms of the main store where all of the damages occurred.
He says they are grateful to the residents that continue to patronize the establishment.
We are offering the same products that we had before, and we appreciate the support that we have been getting from the public. And as long as we're here, we want to make sure that we are giving the public what they deserve.
40 professionals to be honored this weekend in the capital. Among them, one of our very own. Jamila Mizik has more.
10 young Grand Bahamians are among young professionals that will be recognized as 40 most influential persons under the age of 40 by Bahamas Professional Services this coming Saturday in the nation's capital. The 40 outstanding professionals were selected from among 465 applicants. 17 were from Grand Bahama, with the final 10 being Delano Arthur, Shan Elliott, Glennette Fowler, Rashima Ingram, Raymond L. Jones III, Shanika McIntosh, Gayla McPhee, Ariana Joy Roberts, Talia S. Wildgoose Davis, and our associate editor here at the BCB, Shashina Rule Farquharson. Local coordinator Felix Bowe says those selected are a diverse group of young, strong, competent leaders from the financial sector, the Public Hospital Authority, the environment, marketing, energy and power supply, journalism, logistics, operations management, construction management, and last but not least, from the entertainment arts entity in Grand Bahama. Once again, the 2019 cohort 40 under 40 honorary service will take place in New Providence at the Bahama Resort. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
So congratulations to all of the honorees, especially our Shashina. Mr. Knowles, what can we expect in sports tonight?
Well, coming up in sports, Tanaj Thompson is back home for the offseason. Our cousin Buddy Hill is back on court tonight. And bad news for DeAndre Ayton.
Well, there you have it. Stay tuned. Sports is up next.
Grand Bahama Development Company Limited, DevCo, and the Lucaya Service Company Limited, LESCO, would like to advise owners of vessels that have been displaced due to Hurricane Dorian to contact them as soon as possible at telephone number 242-350-9096 or email support@lesco.org. Please provide the serial number or registration number along with any photos of your vessel.
Welcome to Sports 360 with Jay Fleet. We have live in studio today.
It goes down to discipline, taking care of your body, knowing what you need to put into your body.
We have Chavez, Hollywood, Young, and also Shamiko, Sparky Smith, a product out of Abaco, a product from Grand Bahama. Hi, I'm Jay Philippe. Tune into Sports 360 each and every Thursday at 1 p.m. here on ZNS Network.
Good evening all, welcome to Sports in the North. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Topping sports, Bahamian professional baseball player Tanaj Thompson completed his third year as a pro in the minor league. He signed with the Cleveland Indians in December of 2016, then traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates last year where he recently finished his season. The ace pitcher is home in Grand Bahama for the offseason where he caught up with Jay Philippe.
Tanaj Thomas plays in the Rookie Advanced Appalachian League for the Bristol Pirates, which is an affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates Ball Club. The 6'4" right-handed pitcher says he was pleased overall with the way he played this season.
This year, I would say it was a pretty productive season. I mean, it went pretty good. I led the league in strikeouts this year. My ERA is pretty low. So I felt like overall it was a pretty good season for me. There's a lot of talk in the markets, doing a lot of good things, so I just have to keep it going.
As far as what's next for the ace pitcher, Thomas had this to say.
A higher level, which is low A, which would be in North Carolina this year coming up. And my plan is just to go there and just go there and play. Just stay confident, just keep the support behind me and just keep going.
The off-season is an important time to work on your skills as an athlete. Thomas says his main focus this off-season is to enhance his pitching development.
Baseball is 90% mental, so just gotta keep a strong faith and strong head. Also, it's just keep my body right. Like, I know in the off-season you have a lot of time with your friends and family, and you can get caught up in that. But just stay in and out of the gym each day.
Not to be left out, Thomas says he, along with the other pro baseball players from Grand Bahama, are planning some events for young aspiring baseball players.
For this off-season, the rest of the summer, I think we would do a few camps middle of November and like 2 in December, just to give kids the opportunity to get seen more and learn some from us, the professional players, just to give back. I know it's a lot of development stages that the kids would need, and I think that we could really help.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Total Sports.
Thanks, Jay. Heading into the NBA now, Phoenix Suns center and the 2018 #1 overall draft pick DeAndre Ayton was suspended for 25 games without pay by the NBA on Thursday night for violating the terms of the NBA NBPA anti-drug program by testing positive for a diuretic. Ayton said in a statement, "This was an unintentional mistake, and unfortunately I put something in my body that I was completely unaware of." He apologizes to his family, the entire Suns organization, teammates, partners, fans, and the Phoenix community. Now Ayton won't be able to return until a road game against the Los Angeles Clippers on December 17. And of course, the Phoenix Suns are back on court tonight taking on the Denver Nuggets. And that is your check on sports. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Until next time, enjoy your weekend.
News as it happens in the palm of your hands. Download the ZNS app and keep up with your favorite radio stations, breaking news articles, and live coverage wherever you are. The ZNS app, available in the Android and iOS store.
And that's going to do it for us here in the North. But be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues. On behalf of the entire news team,
I'm Ramiko Knowles.
I'm Megan Shepard. Have a wonderful weekend.
I'm Whitney Hasty, CEO of BPL. I have a background in engineering. That's where my education and training comes from. I've been with BPL just over 2 years, first as a board member and then as CEO. When I first got to BPL, I was really stunned at the state of the equipment at the generating facilities. both from an operations and also from a maintenance perspective. Some of the equipment was being neglected, and that was years in the making. So that has certainly led us to our current challenges that we are facing today. To say some of our equipment is archaic is truly an understatement. In fact, some of the equipment that we have as the control mechanism for these machines still use 3.5-inch floppy disks. Yet, it is operating some of our equipment. This is our original control room built in the 1970s. It was the first control room, and it's today still house and operate some of the equipment that we have on site. One of the machines that we recently shut down 9 months ago was being operated out of this control room. Since I've got here, I've seen firsthand how hard the people at BPL are working. They're working 24/7 to make sure they keep these assets up and running as best as they can. They care about what they do, and they're working hard at it. Because they're part of the community, they care just like every one of us. Our team is working on a long-term plan to fix the problems we're facing today. We're upgrading our equipment, we're putting in procedures, we've been updating our processes and procedures to make sure when we replace the equipment that we have the procedures that dovetail to make sure that the equipment stays the way it should be. We're modernizing and upgrading our equipment, designing a centralized generation control whereby we don't have our 3 stations being operated in silos. They'll be operated from a central controlled center that will be online next year. We're building a modern power utility. Unfortunately, it's going to take time, given years and decades of neglect, but we're committed to getting it fixed for the long term.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report. NIB staffers take a strike vote today. Why the NIB minister said it took him by surprise. A statesman laid to rest after final tributes today. And price control comes to the defense of Abaco and Grand Bahama residents over price gouging claims. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Topping the news this evening, staff at the National Insurance Board taking to the polls today, even though they will not receive a strike certificate, as the poll they conducted was not conducted by the Department of Labor. However, President of the Union of Public Officers, Guion Roach, says all 226 members of the union in New Providence voted in favor of the strike due to stalled negotiations over their industrial contract. Now, Roach says members of the Family Islands were not able to vote, about 100 of them in all. Director of Labor John Pinder, meantime, says Roach was advised to resubmit a strike poll application, but at this point, the union hasn't done that. Pinder suggested the results would be invalid, but Roach says the court will decide on the new union's next course of action. Now, in the meantime, with questions raised over the validity of that vote, the minister with responsibility for NIB, Brensel Roll, says the reasons given by the union clash with his understanding of dialogue between the union and the board.
In their reasoning as to why a strike vote was necessary, they had, I think, 3 reasons. One was because of unfair dismissal, and that was not accurate because the person who they suggested was dismissed unfairly, separated from national insurance, and the union signed the document which said the agreement was mutual. The second reason they gave as to why the strike vote was necessary was their position that the management had withdrawn from the table of negotiation. That was not accurate.
Now, Roll says it's based on this that he was assured that a strike vote was not a consideration for now.
As a consequence, Labor told us yesterday that there would be no strike vote, so I'm surprised that the day that there's a strike vote. But that is what was communicated to NIB from the Ministry of Labor, that there would be no strike vote, because the matters before the union was settled, between the union and NIB was settled, and it was settled to the agreement of everybody.
Well, also adding his voice to the dispute, Director of Labor John Pinder, who says the Department of Labor was not able to facilitate the application made by the Union of Public Officers. Pinder says after reviewing the documents, it was determined that there were a number of illegalities. While the union may have carried forth with a strike vote on its own, it would have to be certified by the department. Pinder suggests today's results are invalid because the vote was not approved.
As a result of that, the Labor Department was not able to conduct that poll for them. The President was advised of this yesterday, and we have subsequently given the necessary recommendations that definitely needs to be made in order for us to legally conduct that poll. The law is that the Department of Labor, that the poll belongs to the Minister of Labor. The Minister of Labor will give the Department of Labor the okay to go ahead and conduct the polls, and then we ought to give the minister the results, and then the minister will determine whether he certifies the poll results or not. We found that there was some information that should have been provided to us that was not provided to us. As a result of that, we had to advise him that the poll cannot be conducted.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, issuing its latest numbers on the death toll from Hurricane Dorian at 65. Earlier this week, NEMA officials noted that the help desk for missing persons had been deactivated. Right now, only 6 shelters remain open here in the capital with 796 occupants. The shelters in Grand Bahama are closed due to a lack of use, and there are no shelters in Abaco due to compromised buildings. Now, BTC has restored 97% of service in Grand Bahama and 76% in Abaco, while Alive is fully restored on both islands. As of this week, more than 2,000 persons received food from vouchers from the Department of Social Services. Well, price gouging is traditionally a concern during the time of storm, and in light of this, authorities of the Price Control Commission are warning store owners not to engage in this illegal practice. Chairman of the Price Control Commission, Danny Sumner, says a number of complaints have been filed for a hike in prices on breadbasket items like canned food and batteries.
I've been informed 2 stores in particular, I wouldn't call their name, and I'm still investigating them, had their batteries very high from the normal prices. That is not good. People need batteries. I discovered a number of canned items in a particular food store, and I took an inspector there, and we had them remove the prices right away. So what we did during the hurricane was deter a lot of merchants from overpricing the Bahamian.
Now, Sumner says 1 store is open in Abaco and Grand Bahama, and the government completes its restoration exercise. A team from the Price Commission and the Consumer Protection Agency will travel to those islands to ensure that owners comply with the law.
$5,000 will be charged per item on any item that is gouged. So if you have a canned item for 5 cent overprice, and you got 2,000 of those canned items in there, you're going to be charged $5,000 multiplied by that 2,000. You don't need that. Another thing too that I should mention is hoarding. Hoarding is very dangerous. Hoarding is when a merchant will conceal items that is needed for his purpose and only release them when he sees fit. That is against the law. If somebody needs something, you have to make it available.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
What does support look like? What does it sound like when you feel the pulse of a nation? When you make a difference in the lives of strong, principled, cultured people who are driven by hard work and passion. People who build communities where hospitality is warmly demonstrated because this is the Bahamas, and we're happy to share our wealth. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians. Bahamians helping Bahamians.
If there's anything these past couple of months have taught us, it's to value what's important. Value your family. Value Value your friends. Value your community. Value being together. At BTC, we support everything you value, and that's why we're giving you more so you can build stronger lives. The new always-on, VAT-inclusive $15 7-day prepaid plan gives you unlimited local anywhere calls, 3 gigabytes of data plus an hour of YouTube data and 30 days of free WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger text. Yes, it's the 7-day plan with 30 days of connectivity built in. Value is more than a word. It's commitment. BTC.
Bring home a family bucket of original spicy or barbecue chicken with fries and buttery biscuits. All for only $20, including VAT. Let KFC cook tonight. Buckets of love at KFC Nassau. It's finger licking good.
Look, it's simple. Fidelity can consolidate all your bills with our debt consolidation loan. Give you 1 monthly payment and money in your pocket.
So let me get this straight, Miss Financial Coach. You say something about cash in my pocket?
Yes.
And a savings plan with 5% interest? Wow, finally, a bank that's looking out for me. What you want me to sign?
That's not all. We also offer competitive interest rates and free financial coaching.
That's Fidelity. You ain't hear me. Where do I sign?
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Scores of mourners gathered at the Christchurch Cathedral today to pay respects to former Senator, the late Dr. Dowswell Coakley. Coakley would have began his service to the country he loved as a Royal Bahamas Police Force officer, later serving as Director of Immigration and Consulate General to New York, among many other posts. Various politicians and statesmen, including Governor General, the Most Honorable Cornelius A. Smith, and former Prime Minister Perry Christie, attended the state-recognized funeral. Now, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, who addressed the congregation during the service, said of the accomplishments of Mr. Coakley, what he admired most about his late friend was his love for country above all else.
But I watch him over the years that I know him to grow from being involved in partisan politics to being a true statesman. And I think that is how certainly I and my family will remember him. And I think most Grand Bahamians will remember him. Somebody who was in the fight and all that entails, but was able to rise above it, to mature to a point where his only contribution, his only interest was in the well-being of our country and the well-being of its people.
The late former senator, described as a true hero, was coincidentally called home on National Heroes Day. Archdeacon of the Northern Bahamas, the Venerable Earl Hepburn, says both he and congregants will truly miss Dr. Coakley, a man whose track record spoke for itself.
There is only one word suitable, and I believe to describe a man like Dr. Dowswell Coakley, who though he walked with kings, still did not lose the common touch. And this word is impressive. I am of the view that Dr. Dowswell Coakley has left all of us in this country a work ethic that is worthy of emulation. I, along with the members of this congregation, will miss him tremendously. We will miss him sitting in his familiar spot with his wife Janice. And if we feel this way about him, I am of the view that our country should feel the same way too.
Well, today it was all smiles for more than 100 displaced residents of Abaco and Grand Bahama as the Bahamas Dental Council, along with a team of international dental NGOs, started the first of a 4-day free dental clinic at the Church of God East Street location. Organizers say this initiative was supported by a number of aid groups and organizations with the objective of providing evacuees and locals with access to various dental procedures and giving them some much-needed TLC in the time of recovery.
So the Bahamas Dental Association took it upon itself to initiate this relief effort to provide oral care to a lot of our hurricane victims. As a result of that, knowing that we do have a manpower shortage locally, we've reached out to our international colleagues, such as the American Dental Association and the National Dental Association, who've come into the country to assist us.
Probably the first time we've had so many different groups come to one room and work together, so it's been very gratifying. The main reason we're here is to take care of the children from the hurricane. Well, today we're trying to do all the procedures necessary, fillings, extractions, cleanings.
Now, the event was originally slated for hurricane evacuees. However, because of the need, organizers decided to open the event to all locals in need of oral care and unable to afford it. They say the process to get assistance at the makeshift dental center is simple, and a person can be in and out within about 2 hours. The church also says the event supports its overall mission to help those in need.
Where we do a very brief dental triage process. We determine if they need a cleaning, a filling, or extraction, and then we go to a waiting line for cleanings, fillings, or extractions. And when the dentist becomes available, they get in the chair and they receive their free dental services.
The church's mandate is to promulgate the gospel to the world. And many times people think that the church is only a preaching or a teaching institution. In this case, we're actually putting our arms around people in a real, meaningful way.
Well, this month, a number of organizations have been joining in the fight against breast cancer, raising awareness to the dreaded disease. Today, the bankers were pampered by Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute students to massages, manicures, and pedicures. The central bank governor says it's all about taking care of their team members as they participated in what they called Face for the Cure.
An entirely volunteer act that the staff put together, and for the bank it has always been our pleasure to just accommodate them and allow them to do it on site. As a matter of fact, we encourage all of the staff to come out and be as supportive as they can. For us, this is very important. It's a part of our overall emphasis on promoting employee health and well-being and doing everything that we can to make sure that employees live healthy lifestyles. And so this year again, we're happy to be supporting the Breast Cancer Awareness Month of activities.
2 years ago, Tarika Johnson began the fight of her life when she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. She calls the experience a scary one, having already lost a loved one to cervical cancer and another to breast cancer. With the disease now in her past, Johnson reflects on how she overcame. Cleopatra Murphy has her story.
Like I say, it was a fight. Time to fight. Cancer didn't come here to kill me. I killed cancer.
Cervical cancer survivor Tarika Johnson says she thanks God every day for her parents, who stuck with her from start to finish throughout her cancer journey. She says battling cancer is a mental thing, and it is crucial to have a positive support system around you, and that is exactly what she had.
My mother went to every treatment with me. Every treatment. My father, he usually opens the church, Our Lady's Church. He didn't open that church from I was doing my treatment, just to take me where I had to go, be my driver.
Johnson was diagnosed with stage 1 cervical cancer in April 2017. In November 2016, she began having abnormal bleeding and passing clots. By February, it seemed to worsen and she panicked and eventually got a routine pap smear that came back abnormal. She says that was followed by a biopsy, then the confirmation that she had cervical cancer, a disease that had killed her grandmother about 15 years before. That's when Johnson says she went into fight mode.
I had to do MRIs, I had to do CT scans and stuff like that. Now that's when reality set in, that this thing is real. I would go to do those tests and I would cry straight through. The MRI machine, from I saw that machine, I started to cry.
Johnson's chemotherapy was not invasive, and she kept her hair and did not have symptoms like diarrhea and nausea. She said she could not have had surgery because her doctor said if she was cut, she would not have a good quality of life. She recalls the lowest point in her battle with cancer.
My lowest point was when I told my mom, I said, I'm not going to do this treatment anymore. Because even though I didn't lose my hair, that chemo gave me a fever which was spiked to 100, sometimes over. I was in hospital once. The radiation wasn't too bad. There's 2 stages of radiation, the outward and the inward. But I made it.
Today, Johnson has a clean bill of health and continues to gain strength among those who have fought a similar battle. She remembers the day her doctor confirmed her fight was over, but the mother of 3 also recalls the toll her cancer had on her children.
I went home and I was crying, and my son was like, "Mommy, what happened?" I said, "Miguel, I am cancer-free." Because I think the fear of it, of a child knowing their parent is diagnosed with cancer, is fearful for them. It's very fearful for kids. So it's not only the person that's dealing with it, it's the entire family that's affected.
As she embraces her future, Johnson urges others going through a similar battle to put their faith in God and to fight to live. Cleopatra Murphy, SAT&S Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
I'm Belinda Payne, and this is your Royal Fidelity Weekly Market Wrap. Activity in the market went up in terms of trade volumes and number of trades. Investors traded a total of 253,921 shares, up from last week's volume of 69,333 shares. There were 35 trades on BISX this week, up from the 18 trades in the previous week. Commonwealth Brewery was the lead advancer for the week, trading 3,550 shares to close up 10.33% to a new price of $8.01 per share. The other advances for the week were Doctors Hospital, up 10% to a new price of $3.85 per share. Cable Bahamas, up 4.21% to a new price of $4.70 per share. Commonwealth Bank, up 3.02% to a new price of $4.10 per share. And Finco, up 0.65% to a new price of $9.33 per share. AML Foods with the lone decliner this week, trading 146,160 shares to close down 9.31% to $3.70 per share. In other company news, Focal declared a dividend of 3 cents per share to ordinary shareholders, payable on November 12th. Here's your wealth tip for the week. Follow these 3 money rules to improve your financial situation. 1. Money likes to work for you. Money needs a purpose. If you don't give your money investing and saving tasks, it will leave you and find someone who will. 2, leverage the money. Use other people's money to make more money. But be careful here, because if you start losing money, it will be more than you actually have. It can work for you, but it can also work against you. 3, the economy changes. You must be proactive with your money in preparation for economic changes that are outside of your control. This puts you in a position to adjust. I'm Belinda Payne, and this has been your Royal Fidelity Weekly Market Recap.
Bone fishing has proven its value to the overall tourism product. As a major niche market, bone fishing has contributed annually between $300 to $500 million to the Bahamian economy, and it continues to make major strides. The Tourism Today team caught up with some bone fishing enthusiasts to hear about their experience in Acklands.
This is our second trip. We came last year and returned this year because we had such a good time.
We just had a good time here. We were here for a week last year and decided to come back for another week.
Harping on the friendliness of the Bahamians, the incredible food, and the professionalism all around, our guests encourage those around the world to come and experience this for themselves.
Oh, definitely we would. That's this not just coming here, but we've come to a number of other islands down in the Bahamas to bonefish. And we've had a great time the whole time. Every time we've come down, it's just been great.
And here, Angela Higgins, who runs the Trophy Lodge on Crooked Island, has just done a wonderful job and is so helpful when we get here. And it's nice to stay there. And great cooking.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rissé Demerit, and this is Tourism Today. At
FG Insurance agents and brokers, we understand your need for protecting the things that matter. It is our job to ensure that your assets are adequately insured.
Feel at ease knowing that with FGIAB, I'm safe and protected at all times.
You might be the best driver in the world, but with FGIAB, you're always protected.
Liability insurance is an expense that every business needs, no matter the size of the industry. You can sail the seas with confidence with FGIAB.
So for all your general insurance needs, come, join the family.
Join the family.
Hi, Mrs. Johnson. Are you all right?
My husband just had surgery. I'm stressed. Hospital bed, wheelchair, bed pants, so many things. Where am I going to find all these things?
Have you heard of Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited?
Are you taking care of a loved one at home and in need of home care supplies such as a hospital bed or wheelchair, underpads, and even a shower chair? Well, look no further. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies, located on Shirley Street, is just the place for you. You no longer have to travel to Miami or anywhere else to buy your medical supplies, such as compression stockings, mastectomy bras, diabetic shoes, and orthopedic braces. We can meet all your medical needs. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. We deliver quality products and service excellence.
Hey, long time no see. You hear me?
Long time. No see.
Boiled fish, stewed fish, stew conch. I love it all.
Tourists come here to take our tours, experience our sun, sand, and sea, and they also spend money around town.
I used to see a bunch of hogfish around here, but nowadays, I hardly see any. You protect one area, the fish do their thing, make a bunch of babies that spread all over the sea. What's the problem? If we protect certain parts of our sea, it keeps all parts working right. I was against that phase, but knowing what I know now, I totally agree with having marine protected areas. I support marine protected areas.
We support marine protected areas.
Look for Bahamas Protected on Facebook. Sign the petition. Sign the petition.
Members of the Bahamas Maritime Authority, students from Bahamas Academy, St. John's College, and the Jackie Robinson Foundation assembled on the R&D Plaza West grounds Friday morning to pack 400 goodie boxes filled with essentials to be shipped to victims of Hurricane Dorian in Abaco and Grand Bahama. Minister of Transport and Local Government, the Honorable Renwood Wells, was also on hand for the event, applauding international organizations and friends of the Bahamas for giving generously.
The Bahamian people should know that there is no government funds in this. This is simply private organizations donating, and the Bahamas Maritime Authority, which is an arm of the Ministry of Transport and Local Government, really organizing and pulling it all together. We're creating about 400 care boxes that we're going to be sending into both Abaco and Grand Bahama to be able to help those most affected. We've been focusing on women and children mainly with feminine hygiene products and cereals and the juices and toothpaste, toothbrushes, those kinds of things that folks would need in an everyday situation.
BMA Chairman Denise Lewis Johnson and Vice President of the Jackie Robinson Foundation, Ivo Filbert, says they're both happy to be able to meet some of the demands of the victims affected by the storm in a meaningful way.
Oftentimes, people don't realize that there are certain items that you need on a regular basis. Each month you're going to need. And so if you donate water, we're going to drink it and we're going to need it. For women, there are certain needs that they're going to have on an ongoing basis. And so our thought was to remember that and make certain that we could fill that need.
I'm from the U.S. Virgin Islands, and of course we got hit 2 years ago with Irma Maria. So we know and understand what it's like. And certainly when you have friends in a community, we are one Caribbean. Denise and I have a 35-year friendship. We're college mates, and certainly I know a lot of people here, so we want to make sure we're doing our part.
A dynamic, passionate group of young people participated in the 22nd annual National Youth Parliament today, sharing their views and concerns on climate change and social media. Now into its 19th sitting, National Youth Parliament has allowed young Bahamians to their voices to be heard, while equipping them with the tools and training to one day become future politicians. As the young parliamentarians debated on the issue of climate change, they gave a plethora of solutions that can solve this impending crisis. Member of Parliament for Angliston, Karasia Forbes, presented a solution to climate change and says the Bahamas needs to take action before climate change destroys our paradise.
I fervently believe that in order to sustain an archipelago, we must persist in collaborative efforts that include schools and various organizations. By youth joining the Ministry Environment, Plastic and Styrofoam Free by 2020 initiative, we will significantly help in the eradication of pollution and heighten public engagement. Mr. Speaker, in 3 blinks, 2050 will be smiling in our faces. When then are we going to grab the bull by the horns, wake up and smell the sea, and take this matter seriously? The impact of this change is going to be felt by every country, big and small. And the smallest countries, like ourselves, will feel the pinch even worse.
Well, on the other issue of social media, the young parliamentarians discussed the challenges, concerns, and solutions for addressing cyberbullying and the proliferation of fake news. The Member of Parliament for Long Island shared her concerns about cyberbullying.
People may think that cyberbullying isn't a major issue, but have you all seen how suicide is becoming more prevalent in the Bahamas since we live in a society where technology is on the rise? We as Bahamians should also play a role in reducing cyberbullying. If inappropriate news, videos, or pictures are sent to us, we should not forward it and send it around to our friends. That's how these posts go viral. And not only are we encouraging others to send it, but as soon as we press that forward or send button ourselves, we also become cyber bullies.
Students in the public school system continue to do exceptionally well academically. This week's Student of the Week hails from the home of the Royals. Here's LaDon Davis.
Teachers work with you and they help you understand, and it's a safe environment where you feel comfortable, and there are multiple places where you sit down, you could talk with friends, break in lunch, and calm your nerves.
That's 8th grade student of the D.W. Davis Junior High School, Sky Knowles, reflecting on her tenure at the public learning institution. Sky, a native of Long Island, has maintained a 3.8 grade point average, but she says her biggest goal this semester is to make a 4.0. She says her involvement in a number of extracurricular activities like the Builders and Handbells clubs sharpened her leadership qualities.
It made me become like a full-born leader, to know who I am. It helped me to socialize with other students more, to be more vigilant, and to help them with anything that they need. Handbells I really enjoyed because it calms me, just listening to the music and the bells ringing. And AMMC, it helps you more about history and what's going on, the information you don't know about your own country. I want Bahamians to know that we're not just here for our pretty waters and our sunny beaches. We could also be here for our knowledge, and we are also known for our sports.
But get this, Sky's favorite subject is mathematics, and her weakest is English literature. The eloquent yet poised student says she did the noble thing and got a tutor to improve on her weakness.
My grades have gotten better. I can see an improvement myself, that I've done better, and then my teacher also has seen an improvement. I love math because it gives me a challenge. It helps me calculate things easily. Like, for example, if I'm home, my mother asks me a number to calculate, I could tell her right there. And then I love how math, it works your brain. I love a good challenge.
And so the big question is, what's next for Sky Knowles?
I would love to be the next head girl of this school and to be valedictorian.
Why?
Because I find that I love like having the ability to say that I've done something, to say that I've actually worked for this, that I earned it.
LaDawn Davis with the Student of the Week.
Well, stay tuned. There's more news after the break. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
Our business is all about seeing the big picture, moving beyond age-old traditions for greater efficiency and growth, building on the strength of our foundation by evolving with technology and innovation, connecting million-dollar dreams with billion-dollar opportunities. This is our big picture. What's yours?
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Our marine resources were once considered inexhaustible. Conch and reef fish like grouper were abundant everywhere, and it seemed as if the lobster catch would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas. Hi, as I conclude my discussion on breast cancer, we don't know exactly what causes breast cancer, but we do know that it most often begins in the milk-producing cells of the breast. Researchers have discovered that between 5% and 10% of breast cancers are linked to mutated genes known as BRCA1 and BRCA2. But Bahamian women have a much higher incidence of these genes, with 23% of breast cancer cases linked to these mutations. If you are diagnosed with breast cancer, your doctor determines your treatment options based on your type of breast cancer, its stage and grade, size, and whether the cancer cells are sensitive to hormones. Most women undergo surgery for breast cancer and also receive additional treatment such as chemotherapy,
hormone therapy, or radiation. It is important not to be overwhelmed when faced with a diagnosis of breast cancer. Take the time to have your doctor answer all your questions, and remember, the final decision regarding any treatments is yours. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Well, it's time for a check of your weather. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Basil, how's the weekend looking?
Well, the tropics quickly came alive this afternoon with two systems. We'll tell you all about those later in the newscast. But the weekend is looking reasonably okay. We'll have 1 or 2 showers in the morning on Saturday, but things should dry quite nicely in the afternoon. But right now, we're going to take a look at temperatures around the Family Islands, and they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 82 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Torquay at 82, 84 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, the Berry Islands, 83 in Allenstown, Bimini, Harbor Island, 82 also in Roxanne, Eleuthera, Otterstown, Cat Island, Stanley Key, Kemps Bay, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. More 82s in San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma, 82s in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, Acklands at 83, Machitani, Nagua, 84 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Payne Center. For the Northwestern Islands tonight, easterly winds, they're going to be around 15 to 20 knots. Tropical sea conditions, 4 to 7 feet. Low tide takes place at 11:32 tonight. And then for the central and southeastern islands tonight, east to southeast winds also 15 to 20 knots. So caution flags are up, and the wave heights 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. And then tomorrow through Sunday, you can expect a southeast flow at 10 to 15 knots. So those winds will fall off quite nicely. Wave height subsiding 2 to 4 feet. High tide 5:44 in the morning. Low tide 12:03 in the afternoon. And then come Saturday and Sunday for the central and southeastern islands, winds also falling off 12 to 18 knots out of the southeast, wave heights down 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It is time now for your travel forecast, and your travel forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your travel forecast brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is coming up in about 18 minutes.
One of our most exciting, and I've got to secretly admit it's my favorite initiative, our Magical Moments Reading Tour. It's when we take some time and go into our schools and spend some time reading to our students. This time we're at the Eva Hilton Primary School, and we brought along a special guest, our CEO, Garfield Sinclair, who's reading to Miss Burroughs' second grade class.
Jasper couldn't get enough carrots. Jasper was about to help himself to a victory snack when he heard it. The soft, sinister da-dunk, da-dunk, da-dunk of carrots creeping after it.
Reading, of course, is fundamental to every school, and here at Eva Hilton, we pride ourselves on being certain that our students are readers, because we know that readers are ultimately leaders. And so the students from this school, we have about 95% of them reading on or above grade level, and so we're very, very proud of the success of both the students and the teachers. As a matter of fact, we're so proud that this past school year, of our 6th graders, only 2 of them were reading slightly below grade level, and 2 of them were at 5th grade. All others were on or above grade level.
So what a blast it has been spending time with Miss Burroughs' 2nd grade here at the Eva Hilton Primary School as a part of our Magical Moments Reading Tour. These are more of the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom, and we'll see you next BTC Connection.
Save today when you shop Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Vitamal Tonic, 12-ounce bottle, 99 cents. Chicken whole wings, $1.69 per pound. Mazola assorted oils, 40-ounce size, $3.99. Muller ready cut macaroni, 16-ounce box, 2 for $3. Yellow corn, 3 for $1.99. Carolina Pride ham, 10-ounce size, $3.29. Everyday specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your fun look at sports. This is your TGIF version. Once again, the NBA announcing that Phoenix Sun center DeAndre Ayton has been suspended for 25 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy. According to the league's announcement, Ayton tested positive for a diuretic, which is banned by the league as it can be used to hide or cleanse the use of performance-enhancing drugs. Ayton will miss tonight's game against the Denver Nuggets and won't return to the court until December 17th against the LA Clippers. Now, the NBA Players Association is planning to appeal the suspension with thinking this incident falls under the unintentional ingestion provision of the collective bargaining agreement. With those 25 games, he is expected to lose roughly $2 million. Now, he did issue a statement late last night stating that I want to apologize to my family, the entire Suns organization, my teammates, partners, our fans, and the Phoenix community. This was an unintentional mistake, and unfortunately, I put something in my body that I was completely unaware of. I do understand the unfortunate impact that this has had on many others, and for that, I am deeply sorry. I'm extremely disappointed that I've let my team down. He went on to continue to say that I will continue to work with the Players Union to go through the arbitration process, and I'm hopeful for a positive resolution. Game 6 of the New Providence Softball Association Men's Championship Series played last night at the Blue Hills Bankers Field. CS Enterprise Hitman getting to the Commander Security Truckers in the early innings, already up 3-2 in this series. The Hitmen avoiding the bad turn of events last season when they led 3-1, only to see the Truckers come back and win the championship. This time around, the Hitmen blanked the Truckers 7-zip to wrap up the series 4-2.
Feel good, man. Truckers is a very good ball club. Wasn't easy to fight them off. Last year we was up 3-1. This year, people thought it would have been deja vu. However, the Hitmen came out on top.
It's about time. Been in the slump. I've been home today thinking all day what I was doing wrong. Hey, came out here and did it.
The Truckers played tremendous ball. Thomas was dominant, but we finally came through in the clutch. That was the key. Finally got the time we had. Broke the game open. I figured I'd discourage him a bit, and that was the key tonight. We was in the same situation last year, and we couldn't close. So we didn't want that to happen again. But if you pay close attention to what happened on Tuesday, the Hitmen played some very sloppy softball. The manager wasn't happy, and the players rallied behind the ace. When we went into the parking lot, they was very disappointed in my performance, and so I went home, went back to the drawing board, come out here tonight to destroy, and that's what we did. I feel that the difference in the game basically is that, one, looked like the catcher G was in here today. I thought I played an important role, but Thomas, how he could have thrown the rock. And then, secondly, I shuffled the lineup a bit, try and see if we could get a spark here and there. We got it, and that was key.
The University of Bahamas Mingos softball team on the ladies' side will hold open trials starting tomorrow morning, 9:30, at the Bankers Blue Hills Field as the team looks to improve on its first-round playoff exit in this year's NPSA season. They are inviting 10th, 11th, and 12th graders along with recent high school graduates to come out to showcase their skills. Head coach Shane Albury says the team is looking primarily for athletes who can make an immediate impact on the team.
Persons who I can slot in a number of positions. We look for persons, like I said, who we can put in several positions rather than one position as in a one and done player. Off the top, pitching and catching. Those are, two primary positions, and we build from there. So apart from pitching and catching, looking for athletes that we can place in other areas of the field. No doubt, speed is always a good thing to have. So those are just a couple of the things that we're looking forward this weekend.
One of the Bahamas' greatest track and field athletes ever, Christopher Brown, says no, he has not put up the cleats. He was at the park last night. The elusive native who knows a lot about softball back in the 242.
Excited to be back on home soil, looking forward to next year. Just been taking the last year and a half off to recover and get ready for Tokyo 2020. I came home to do some scouting for the university, so I'm looking for some talent to be able to get into the program and give some scholarships and give kids a chance to be able to showcase their talent and also get an education. They have to be on top of their grades. The university requires you to have a certain GPA, and once they meet that requirement, then talent and times come next. But I'm definitely looking for 200-meter sprinters, 100-meter sprinters. We got a good group of quarter milers. I can always use one or two more, especially in the male side. So I'm definitely keeping my eyes open to see what's out there right now.
2 years into the job and first year as full-time head coach, the fireman taking it all in stride.
So far, so good. It's been pretty good. It's a big adjustment from running and being an assistant to go into head coach. So I'm making the transition, and I got a great support team that help me out when I need the help and assist. So I'm doing pretty good, and I'm excited to do it, and something I'm looking forward to. The major adjustment is paperwork. It's a lot of paperwork and a lot of signatures. It's just totally different from being on the track and training and competing now, and you having to actually put athletes in the competition and register them and be able to just go from one aspect to the next. That's a seat that I've never sit on before, and so I'm learning a lot, and I'm just looking forward to what the future brings.
And he says Clayton is looking for an influx of Bahamians now into the program.
We have a good group of kids now, 19, 20, 21. Great group of kids that made up of majority American athletes, and we have one Bahamian, which is Sasha Knowles, and she's joining our team. She's doing cross right now. She's doing pretty well, and she'll be coming over the track eventually. But I'm hoping to come home and be able to add one or two more additions onto her and let them join her up there. So that's the goal and that's the plan.
And that's going to put a wrap on your TGIF Look at Sports. I'm Charles Fisher. Have yourself a great weekend.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Explore the world of agriculture with us. Join me, your host, Carla Palmer, for continued adventures in agriculture and the marine environment as we head into Season 2 of the program, Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now, moving to a new date and time, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m., right here on the ZNS Television Network.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the Bahamas and in Bahamian women. At present, we are unable to prevent breast cancer, but performing screening mammograms can detect breast cancer at its earliest when there are no symptoms and when it is more likely to be treated successfully. All women should have a primary health care provider who is aware of their medical history, family history, and risk factors. Women 40 to 45 years can choose whether to start screening in consultation with their physician. All women 45 to 54 years should have an annual mammogram. Women older than 55 years can have a yearly mammogram or choose to have one every 2 years. Monthly breast self-exams in conjunction with the mammogram can increase the odds of early detection. Be proactive about your health.
The Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale was developed in 1971 by civil engineer Herbert Saffir and meteorologist Robert Simpson, who was the director of the U.S. National Hurricane Center. It was introduced to the public in 1973 and began to be widely used a year later, inspired by the Richter scale that measures earthquakes. The Saffir-Simpson scale was divided into 5 categories. Originally, the scale included predicted barometric pressures associated with the various wind speeds, as well as the relative kinds of damage that could be anticipated. However, because those predictions were found to be very inaccurate just a few years ago, the warning system was changed to include only the wind speeds, which were also adjusted upwards in the higher categories. A Category 1 hurricane has wind speeds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. A Category 2 hurricane has wind speeds between 96 and 110 miles per hour. A Cat 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour. A Cat 4, 130 to 156 miles per hour. And a Category 5 hurricane will have wind speeds from 157 miles per hour and up. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at what we have, Tropical Storm Pablo in the far eastern Atlantic. It will be caught up by this little frontal boundary. That should keep it moving east-southeast for a few hours, then turning more towards the north and east, riding along that frontal boundary. And that should keep it well over the open waters of the Atlantic. No threat to landmass at all. And then we have in the Gulf of Mexico, Olga also formed this afternoon, moving north-northeast at a very good clip, about 18 miles per hour. We expect some increase in that forward speed, and it should make landfall by early morning, somewhere around 1-2 a.m. around the Louisiana area. But as it moves inland, it will dissipate quite rapidly. Nevertheless, some showers, 2 to 4 inches of rainfall can be experienced in those areas over the next several hours as that system moves in. And then over the Bahamas, we have that tropical wave still dragging towards the west. It dumped some heavy showers over parts of the southeast Bahamas. We got reports out of Crooked Island. Ernest Moss reported that they had some heavy showers during the morning hours around 6. Another heavy round between noon and 3 o'clock this afternoon. But that should be improving as that system continues to move towards the west. And our forecast for Olga, as we said, moving inland, will become a tropical rather quickly and continue to move inland with very little impact, save for some showers, which could generate, as we said, rainfall totals between 2 and 4 inches. Partly cloudy tonight, a shower or 2 in spots, particularly along the axis of that tropical wave, which is moving towards the west. Low temperature getting down to 78 degrees. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly cloudy, very breezy again, with a few showers in spots, 87 degrees for the high temperature. The extended weather forecast heading through the weekend. Some showers Saturday morning, improving in the afternoon. Sunday looks even better. Lots of sunshine as we go into the early part of next week, and we're going to keep those temperatures in the up 80s for you. But the good news is the winds are going to be a bit brisk into part of tomorrow, but there will be a decrease heading into Sunday. So we'll see those winds fall up to about 10 to 15 knots. Hence the temperature and the heat misery index will increase as we go into next week.
Basil, do you know it's almost November?
Absolutely, and we have not started to see those frontal systems come down frequent enough to drop those temperatures. But looking at our computer models into next week, there is a front that's coming in. If it makes it completely true, through the chain of violence, we could see a drop in temperature, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, thanks, Basil. Well, that does it for us in the Bahamas tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, thanks so much for looking in. Have a good night and a great weekend.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.